Someone make it make sense.
I'll be a couple.
Hello, party squirrels. It's time for another squirrel party. I mean, kind of. We're also going to be looking at some awful pictures, but you know, in the meantime, we can always have a little bit of a squirrel party. Twiz is asking a very relevant question. Is this the purge? Who was first? I think Frank. Oh, Frank's was first in the chat. I didn't even notice because Frank's changed her picture. And so I didn't even realize it was you, Frank's. Shout out Frank's. Release the text tapes. I have no idea what that's about, but feel free to fill me in because I'm out of the loop. Shout out to P Fox, to Twiz, to Kane, who just finished streaming. Shout out to James. Shout out to Leslie and Billy. Love to see all you guys. Woo! I was going to go live a little bit earlier, but I wanted to, I was hanging out with Kane. Well, first I was having my Notary Public class, but then Kane was still live. And so the timing kind of worked out perfectly there with him wrapping up. And I was like, well, I can go live. So that worked out. So happy to see all of you guys. So what do we have on the screen? Let's take a look. This is from a long time ago, back in the day, back in the time of days of yore when we were back in Latah County still. But there's a reason we're going to watch this. Oh, look at the squangwin. Shout out to Meg as well, guys. Love to see all of you. I'm so glad that I made this, and here's why. Well, first of all, we have maps, but the reason I pulled this up from back in the day is this. Because I don't know that these pictures that we're about to take a look at still exist on the internet. Y'all can let me know if they still exist on the internet. But boy, oh boy, not this one yet. We're getting there. Boy, oh boy, was I glad when thinking about it with the house, well, not with the pictures, I was like, oh my gosh, do I still have this intro video from like a bazillion years ago? And I wasn't sure I still had it. I thought I might have deleted it, but sure enough, I still had it. There's the Latah County. Again, this is from back in the day, early in the case. But there's a reason we're going to take a look here. Because again, I don't know that these pictures are still going to be on the internet at this juncture. I haven't checked. Let me just go ahead a little bit. Okay, it's pictures of the house empty. And we've probably all seen these, right? But it might be helpful as we try to orient ourselves given the pictures that are coming out and how sometimes it's like which room is what. So obviously the kitchen. So I'm gonna let this play while I see what, so Franks is saying in the chat, Tex Watson has recorded tapes from 1969. Oh, you know who would love to know about the, okay, so Flash. So I'm speaking directly to Franks here. So Flash, shout out Flash fan, is like a Manson expert and has been reading the entire like trial transcript and stuff. And he totally would join you in this sentiment. That's very interesting though. Tex Watson, never heard of him, but love that. Is everyone here? Who's everyone? So anyways, if you guys want, we can pause, because they're going through quickly, right? These pictures, we can pause them and take some time to talk about them. But I wanted to have this ready in case we want to reference it as we go back through the pictures that have been released. Some of them we haven't gotten to yet, and others we got to last time, but we needed to go and follow up on that. Oh, Twiz said he told everyone to go chill. Well, thank you, Twiz. Thanks. Love it. So, and like, for example, there's the bathroom. I feel like this is going to be good to have. So like, whenever we see these pictures, right, we're like, oh, they're not showing the whole thing, right? We're getting like here, this is the bathroom, right? And we have a picture of that, but we can see exactly the proximity, for example, to the staircase. So I think this is probably a good plan to have these ready to go. I think I've got pictures of like the entire house basically. So, and again, I don't know if these are still available on the internet or not, but I'm so glad I didn't delete this BK intro video. I almost did because again, this is from forever ago. And I remember like once it's changed venue, I was like, oh, I may as well just get rid of this. This was like Latah themed. kind of, right? It's mostly the house, but like, again, initially there's like pictures of the courthouse and whatever. Anyways, glad I kept it. So, okay, so there's that, first of all. Oh, and I think we have a new squirrel friend, although I think I recognize you from Canes, who's here. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Tigre Fife. I would love to know the meaning behind this name. Is it an acronym? Is it what am I looking at here? And how do we pronounce this? But it's got an interesting story behind it, I feel like. Shout to Carla, welcome on in. Welcome on in. Twiz, are you going to join as well? Kane picked up your slack last time, so just saying. Tiger Fife. Is that the name of your cat? Very cute. Very cute. We love all the Ponards. Shout out to all the Ponards as well while we're at it. Oh, cool. Very cool. Love it. So I'm going to keep this up and handy. And then I'm going to pull up. Okay. I'm trying to think of how the order I want to do this. Let's take a look at this. Hold on. Let's take a look at the other thing I had pulled up. And so some of this stuff I queued up for last time. We didn't get to it. But here's what I want to take a look at, guys. I think you guys will find this interesting. All right. So first of all, this is from when I covered the Ezra McCandless trial. Now, don't worry. You don't have to know anything about the case. Doesn't matter if you know nothing about the case. Irrelevant here. In fact, this is a live stream from back then, whenever this was. I've got it on mute. The only reason I have it pulled up is because the pictures. So first of all, trigger warning, okay? But I think this is interesting because this was also a murder with knife, stabby stab. And, but I think I would imagine this will be a good example of what we typically will see when it's murder by knife, if you will. And what I think we can expect to see when the court releases the exhibits from the crime scene in terms of the level of redaction, but also there's a big difference in how much you can learn from looking at the positioning of the body and the way the body was found. In other words, in terms of at the crime scene, and for example, like if take Murdoch, for example, right? Like blown to smithereens with a shotgun as an example, right? Like, Maggie and Paul were just, whenever they show the crime scene, they just redacted the entirety of both of them. But it makes sense because there was no way that we could see any of it without it being just not, it's just, there's certain things that are just not going to be, released. Anyways, I think you guys will see what I'm talking about. So let me just play this. And again, I have it on mute for this because we're just here looking at the pictures. Okay. First of all, what are we looking at? So the victim, so this white car was the vehicle. Okay. And the victim is like half in, half out of the car. And in case you're like, whoa, what is this weird angle? So this is from the Faro scan. And that black part in the middle there, the half circle or whatever, that just shows that that's where the scanner is. And so it's like going to be 3D basically. So as it goes on, it's going to get different angles because they get closer up. So I just want to let you guys know, here's what we're going to be expecting. Okay. But again, I think this is like, we broke this down in great detail in terms of like we were talking about this the other day too. And Kane was there, like how we really broke this down at the time. And the whole thing was like, by looking at the where the injuries were, where the spatter was, what type, we could track second by second, literally the order of events based on the crime scene because we had the photos and there's portions that are redacted, but it's not so redacted that you can't, like all the information that you need is available basically. So we're going to keep looking. Welcome to Bria. I think is this your second time here? Regardless, welcome or welcome back. this is one of my favorite cases for anyone who hasn't seen it. Okay, so there is the victim again. Actually, I don't think any of this is redacted. I think that there's just like, this is from the courtroom, so I think there's like a reflection from like the screen or whatever. I don't think any of this is actually redacted. So his legs are back here, right? And then his head is down here, where if you can see my mouse. And that's his positioning here. Again, there's going to be some more pictures here. This is a really good case, though. No one else on YouTube has had covered it gavel to gavel. Oh, right. And I might be talking for a while. And okay, there we go. So there's another closer up. So again, the difference being, right, when you've got in death, when you've got someone who's been stabbed, right? Especially if it's not like a trained ninja assassin, for example, you can see, for example, like good portions of the victim, sadly, right, where they're intact. Like there's no actual wounds from what we're seeing here. There's blood that's soaked through from wounds that we're not seeing right now. But the point being that they're intact. They're not, again, comparison on sadly again to like a shotgun or whatever. And even if you've got a situation where it's like some sort of ninja assassin where it's like one cut to the throat or whatever, again, you could show, and I don't know how many murder cases there are like that I've come across, but anyways, they could still potentially show the victim, but just, redact that portion. But anyway, okay, you guys will see what I'm talking about here. So, right. Well, the thing is that they haven't been, and I paused it weirdly here in the live stream. They haven't been released though yet. Like the pictures that have been released so far are from the media, right? And they made the choice on the redaction. So this, like what I'm saying is, I think this is what we can expect whenever they do release the actual crime scene photos, as in they were, they're marked as exhibits. And I can actually pull up the order if you guys want, because I think that's actually pretty pertinent here. That might be a good idea. I have that ready to go. Because what we've been seeing so far from the media is not what would have been presented at trial at all. Like, for obvious reasons. But what I mean is that it is redacted, I would suggest, far more heavily than it would be at trial, even for what's allowed for the public to see, right? I think because the media is trying to be careful. So let me see if there's another. Yeah, there's some more views here. Let's just see. Okay, so there's another view. Okay. Let me go back. Yeah, another picture. Again, I mean, I know this is awful and terribly sad, but again, you can, again, these are examples of what I expect to see. So again, never mind the facts of the case for this purpose, but I'm just going ahead until I get to other angles and stuff like that to show you guys. Because there are, I mean, so far, I don't think we've even gotten to any pictures that are redacted so far of this victim. So I'm trying to see if I can get to one that is redacted as an example. There's that one. We had a lot of discussion about the deer antlers in the blanket, as there were a lot of really good mysteries in this one. Welcome, Doug. Also, guys, everybody, 3 days ago, it was Doug and Amelia's anniversary, 22 years. So congrats to Doug and Amelia on 22 years. Love you guys. Please let us know, what did you guys do? Did you guys do anything special? Did you just get it on? What do y'all do? Welcome on in, Tonka. Happy to see you. Tonka, are you referencing crime scene pictures from like other cases, like what we're doing here? I'm just trying to. So yeah, again, I don't even think we've gotten to any picture that's even redacted at this juncture, but let me just go ahead a little bit because anyways, Yeah, I mean, I remember there was like one or two that were redacted, and it was really only when it came to his face, and not even because there was like a special like there it wasn't like there was like tons of injuries to his face. It was just for his dignity, right? But like we saw we have this from the crime scene, and then when they did the autopsy and whatnot, they showed the pictures of every one of those wounds, every single one, and he was stabbed, I think, 14 plus times. So, it just showed a close up of the wound. And that there was a reason for that because the angle, the depth, the width, right? Was it defensive? Was it not defensive? All that. So they went, they showed all the wounds, again, like you can really, and again, like just to reiterate, I'm pretty sure that the only time it was redacted is like when it would have shown his face. But again, in these pictures, his face is like on the ground. So, anyways, so that's sort of what, there's the decrepit gate. Let me just see if there's any other pictures. Anyway, really interesting case for anyone who didn't see it. Speaking of which, just before I forget, I've referenced so many times the series that we did, the 5-part series on plea deals, the pros, cons, everything. Deep dive. We deep dove the fuck out of plea deals, guys. So for anyone who missed it and is interested, it is included in the Idaho v. Kohberger playlist. But also, I went ahead and made it its own playlist in addition, so that it's even easier to find, where it's self-contained, all 5 live streams. The 5-part series is a separate playlist, and it's still included in the Idaho v. Kohberger playlist. So for anyone who missed it, and if you're new, I do really detailed timestamps, so makes it easy to see if you don't have time for the whole thing, you want to jump around, what have you. Okay, so let's see what they said about the anniversary. Who told you? No, I'm not even. Oh, she told me. She said y'all's anniversary was August 9th. And it's funny because OJ was before my time. So I'm not really, I mean, I know overview of that case. I've never seen those pictures. I know, again, shout out to Flash. Flash is like a scholar on that case. And I know many other people in the chat, I'm sure, are. I've never even seen those photos. But I can see if I can find them if they're readily available. If it'll be of educational value to have another example. Let's see here. This is weird. What's weird, Heather? Oh, it was August 9th. Okay. Heather, what is weird? And what video are y'all talking about here? So, okay. So, yeah. So there's that example. And again, really great case, really great trial. As this was some of the work I was doing on a crime scene, figuring everything out. Oh, yeah. And actually, there you go. I mean, again, this is actually the medical examiner, speaking of which, this was one thing that was really interesting. So you could really track the order of events based on like which cuts went through clothing, layers of clothing, and if so, how many layers of clothing, and lining those up with the body. I mean, it was really, really, really interesting. There was, you got your antemortem, perimortem, postmortem. Anyways, so yeah. Let me see what else you guys are saying here. We are all weird. That is true. We are all weird on our own way, somewhere special. Yes, very true. Twiz is weird. I agree. For sure. So, okay. So then the other thing, so let me pull up, right. So we were looking at, no, wait, I wanted to pull up this one. Sorry, wrong thing. Hold on. I've got a lot of stuff here. Move tab to another window. So I wanted to pull up this is what I wanted to show you guys. Okay. All right. So we hadn't actually looked at this yet. You guys have probably seen it, but it's a good time to reference this. The order regarding the sealed documents. So here's what I wanted to look at. All right, y'all ready? Let me zoom in. The first set of documents the court requires the parties' input, as outlined above, include the following documents. And then the very first number here, state's exhibits, which include photographs of each of the deceased victims and a photograph of the 5. Okay, those were used at the sentencing hearing. Okay. Guilty plea, sealed order on the alternate. That'll be interesting. I can't wait to get that. But I'm looking for the pictures, crime scene photos. Expert testimony. Again, more alternate perpetrators. Notice of filing, sealed exhibit chart. Special investigation. Mitigation mitigation witness list. Emergency order. Request for discovery, obviously. Okay, so you know what? I guess it wasn't in this one. I was thinking that crime scene photos, but what it is it's just the photos that were used instead of things because he's going in order. But the point being this, the exhibits, right? So whenever it references like all the exhibits, the exhibit list, right? And all the exhibits that were going to be used, that includes the crime scene photos that were to be used at trial. So when it goes in order chronologically and gets to those exhibits, then that's what they're going to be deciding. Again, let's just see what he says here specifically. The court will require the parties to indicate whether they have an objection to unsealing any specific document, and if they believe a document should remain sealed, they must identify why redacting of materials is not an acceptable arrangement, and with detail and specificity why the document should be sealed, both from a legal and factual standpoint. Simply citing a court rule without more is not a sufficient response. The response must identify each document by date, Parties must file their response, including if appropriate, a notice of non-objection within 14 days of the court's order identifying a particular group of documents. So let's see, what was the date on this? This was 8/4. So 14 days, so that's 8/18. So we're coming up on that deadline for them to, again, that won't be the deadline for it to be released, this first batch anyway. That'll be the deadline for them to respond with what, if any, objections they have. And it seems like, if there's no objections, then it'll all just be completely released unredacted. I mean, I would expect there's going to be some back and forth for each of these batches. I could also see this taking way longer than Judge Hippler imagined, because I believe there will probably be a lot of fighting between the parties over what should be redacted and how much and what have you. But point being, eventually, in terms of the exhibits, we will get to the crime scene photos. And I would expect that we will see something akin to what we were just looking at as an example, where the minimal amount is going to be redacted, as anyways, like potentially, like I would imagine Kaylee's face will be redacted. Like I can say that with certainty, really, I would say. And just depending on the nature of the injuries, right? But the point being, you can really tell what happened. Anyways, okay. So I think that kind of gets the point across here. So let me see what you guys are saying. What is this video, Twiz, here in the chat? Oh, okay. You guys are saying, okay, I see what you're saying. It's a forensic expert on how to analyze bloodstain patterns. Click on it and find out. Twiz. So, and the thing is right now we don't have a whole lot to go on, like, because the pictures are so cropped and redacted. But the bloodstain patterns are going to be really important. But in addition, the bloodstain patterns in terms of the environment, but also the wounds on the victims, right? I mean, they're equally as important. So anyways, okay, so let's jump right on into this. So let me unshare, reshare. Twiz, are you going to come on? I just have to unshare, reshare real quick. Welcome to anyone who's just now getting here. All right. So by the way, for anyone who missed it on the last live stream, we had this whole mystery with like the purple shit in the picture. Anyways, shout out to Heather, who sent me the pictures that were compromised in the non-compromised version, although it did make for a fun mystery. So let me go to where, let's see here. Some of these we did talk about at length. So I'm going to the ones that we didn't talk. Okay. Question I have for you guys. Let's talk about this one again. So this beer can over here, right here. Question. And I don't have an answer, obviously. It's just a question. Do you guys think that this beer can is empty, or do you think that there's still beer in it? What do you guys think? I want him to talk about it too. Him who? Him who? Let's see. He's saying empty. Well, so welcome on in. Welcome on in. Twiz, are you coming? Okay. Are you saying nope as in you're not coming on? Is that what that is, Twiz? Probably. So we have Neeson's weighing in empty. Doug is saying it would be full. Interesting. And too fast is getting right to the heart of the reason I asked the question. Knowing kids, they crush cans too fast. You're way ahead of the game here. Yes. So my experience, right? I'm not a beer drinker, but in college or not even in whenever, people with the beer cans, I don't know what the thing is because I've literally never drank beer from a can, but there's a thing about crushing them, isn't there? There's like a whole thing. That's one of the things I want to talk about. Is like, what's the deal with that? And the reason I mention it is because if we look at this picture, we have the whole thing that they do, right? It's like you crush them and then you throw it. Crush it and then throw it. Like, is that what y'all experienced or did? That's what I experienced. So that's what this looks like to me. Crush it and then throw it. And that's like a habit that I think people probably do it without even thinking about it. And so it was just an interesting thought because if that's the case, right? Of course, it's never going to be always true, but just looking at it, right, in terms of what does this seem like? What can we glean from these pictures? When we look at, go back. This one, if this was, I would imagine this would be this. Now, also, I'm wondering if this is next to the bed. Because I'm wondering if Ethan was like drinking that beer, maybe, and then fell asleep and didn't finish it, maybe, right? Let me go back to, we need, there. Because that table is in Xana's room. What I don't have a good idea of is where that table is in location or in relation to the bed. Let's see if we can figure this out. We know the rooms are small. The other thing is, I think this is the mirror. I think one of you guys pointed this out in the chat, and that this is redacted because you could see the reflection. Anyways, let's see what else you guys are saying. And Iowa's been a member for 5 months. Awesome. Also happy to see you again, Iowa. Oh, you're saying if there was a struggle, it would have been knocked over, was empty, right? Or they're shotgunning the beer. Yeah. Hi, Amanda. Welcome on in, Super Planner Girl. Beds to the left. Right, I got that. I got the bed. What I'm wanting to orient is this table. That window is opposite of the bed. So facing the bed. So like, hold on. Okay. So the bed, in other words, if you're laying in the bed, you'd be facing that table. That would make sense, actually. That would make sense in terms of just how much space would they have. So if that's the case, okay. Yeah, so then I guess it could be, started drinking it and then went to bed. For anyone who missed it, by the way, there's these really curious 3 dots we talked a lot about last time. I have them circled in red. The 3 dots is very interesting to me. So shout out to Mittens, who's also joining us. Window would be behind you. Is that the same table as blood? No. So Doug, this is the night. If you're talking about this one right here, this is the nightstand. Let me go to this picture. All right. So in this picture, right? So here again, you can see from the hallway, obviously. Okay. So I'm gonna zoom in. All right. So this is like a dresser thing. That is not the same table with the beer can. This is different, right? So we can't see the table with like the top, whatever, the bag and like the Coors box and the rolled up bill. We can't see that. That is not in any picture that's been released so far, except for that one picture. So we can't see it from here. So this looking in, right? So there's the nightstand, and here I have it circled. So see that portion that's circled? You can see the drawers open. The portion that's circled, when I go back to this, it's going to be circled in the same, wait, oops, sorry, wrong direction. Okay, hold on. Let's try this again. There, doo-doo. Now when I go this way, right there, the same portion is circled in red. So now you can see. So like we're going, so we have this view, right? And now we're going to imagine if we were just entering the room and now we're going to go and look and we're going to see to the left, but we're still going to see that same portion of the nightstand right here, that's circled. It's just that it's angled differently because it's obviously from above. The other one's like straight on, but that's the nightstand. And then the other one, this table that we were just talking about, I don't think has any blood on it. I mean, it could be microscopic, whatever, right? But we can't see. This is, yeah. Too fast as I'm trying to get all the answers I can in before Heather gets here. That's hilarious. She does type really fast. She does. It's impressive. So does that make sense though, Doug? Now, as far as this goes, I mean, could be blood, could be ketchup, to be honest, because that's a fast food bag. Could be blood, could be ketchup. You know, it's weird though, because there is an absence, of blood. Who knows? This is where we just need more pictures where we could see more of the room, right? But it's kind of hard to tell in that situation because, given the bag, it could be ketchup or what have you, potentially. What is not the same, Heather? Okay, I think I'm just behind. I think StreamYard's being slow in the chat. They're not the same. Right. That's what I said. Yeah, this is not the nightstand, obviously. This is a table. This is like a desk, actually, right? This is a desk. Desk. Let's just name everything. Let's name the furniture, guys. Pretend we're back in like college or whatever, and you're like, oh, getting your first furniture. This is a desk. Okay. There you can see the nightstand, right? All right, in this picture, what's circled there? That's a nightstand. To the right of the nightstand is what I would call a dresser, right? And then here again, there's the nightstand. I think we all know what a bed is. There's the nightstand. So in terms of like the white furniture, we got nightstand, dresser, desk, right? And you can see, look at all the blood on the nightstand. It's covered, right? So then we've got, oh, oops, desk. Kane's back. Hi, Kane. Welcome on in. Right, the dresser thing has candles on it. Yep. Yeah, for anyone who's confused, I never said this was a nightstand. I'm saying that's not a nightstand. I'm saying that this is not, is this not, am I not being clear, or is it just because I'm behind with the chat? Because I think it's pretty obvious, like, one is skinny and small and covered in blood, and the other one's a table with like a laundry bin on it. Like, I think it's pretty, right? So like, hold on. Can I write on this? Okay, so like nightstand. Okay, there's NS for nightstand. Dresser. I'm writing this with my mouse, so it's going to look like shit. Okay, just bear with me, right? Oh my God, look at that S. Wow. I feel like Twiz right now. Oh my God. Whatever. Okay, nightstand, dresser, right? Desk, right? Right. So different pieces of furniture. I'm sorry that it's hard. I can read, if I were to read the chat and only read the chat, then I wouldn't be able to look at or comment on the pictures. So it's, I'm doing my best. Sorry. And also StreamYard is being slow again. It's like really delayed. There are 4 pieces of furniture. So what's the other? Are you saying there's 2 nightstands? Because I know we've got 3 so far. What's the 4th one, Heather? The nightstand with the blur in front is not the same as the nightstand next to the bed. Nightstand with the blur in front. Let me just see if I can get to it because it just put everything out of order. I had it all memorized and now it's all in a different order because when I wrote on it, it changed the order. So, okay, here we go. Okay, the nightstand with the blur in the front is not the same. It's not. Huh. I mean, I thought it was the same one. So is there a desk and a nightstand right next to each other under the window? There's 2 nightstands. Okay. Right. There's the desk with the dollar bill, right? There's the dresser with the candles, right? And in this same image, there's a nightstand, and then there's a 4th piece of furniture that is also a nightstand. So, but the point being that you're saying this nightstand and hold on, this nightstand and the other nightstand that were circled. Now these are out of order. Those are different nightstands. That nightstand is open, right? But you can't see the drawer. And I'll look at the picture that somebody texted me in just a second. But hold on, you can't see the drawer. Hold on. This is the most zoomed out version that we have of this nightstand. And you can't see because that's the side that's circled. We can't actually see the drawer to see whether it's open or not, unless there's another picture that's surfaced. But all the pictures I have of this room are like, yeah, again, zoomed in. We can't actually see because that's the side, right? And I have, hang on. Yeah, so you guys, so for anyone who's sending me pictures of the house that's empty, you guys might have missed the beginning of the live stream where the first thing we did was we were looking at these pictures. Hold on. For this exact reason. Right here. This is what I already had pulled up. So this is where I left off. We were left off with the bathroom, right? So, and I'm sure this room is in here when it goes through. I don't know which order they're in, so I'm just going to scroll through until we get to it. Let's see. Okay, hold on. So, okay, I'm seeing a picture from Twiz. Yeah, I've got that in here somewhere, I'm sure. Okay, hang on. Is that the same room? No. And for anyone who's annoyed that I'm not looking at the chat, I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at my computer, I'm looking at my other monitor, and I'm looking for the specific angle of the picture. So I'm sorry if I'm not reading the chat. Apologize. I'll read it when I can. But I'm only one person. So, let's see. Okay. So I maybe don't have that one. Give me a second. I'm going to have to figure out how to get this from my phone to the computer. Let me think about this. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this through iCloud. Give me just a second. And we can enjoy this picture while I do this real quick here. I'm just going to try to get this picture. Oh, didn't mean for it to keep playing. That's okay. I wanted to pause it on that. Okay. I'm just grabbing this picture real quick. Okay, hang on. Let's see here. All right. Almost got it. All right, here we go. Thank you, Twiz. All right, just unshare, reshare. There we go. All right. That felt like forever to me. Hopefully it didn't feel like forever to you for me to try to get this picture from iMessage on my phone to on the computer. Okay. So this is Xana's room empty. Okay. Thank you. So there's the window. Is that the only window? Let's see. Zoom out of the bed image. Let me just share it my entire screen. It'll be easier actually to go back and forth. So if you're talking about this picture, this is fully zoomed out. Like I can't zoom out anymore. This is as like, wait, hold on. This is as zoomed out as the picture as what exists. Unless you're talking about the one that's in the distance, like that one. Right. Are you talking about this picture at the foot of the bed? And it sucks because the StreamYard is slow on the chat. So in the empty room. Okay. So I guess there's actually, is that a closet there? Let me see something real quick. I guess that's a closet. So interesting. Right under the windows is the desk with the laundry bin on it, right? Right. So there's a doorway here, but then there's also a door here. So one of these has got to be a closet, right? And you know what? That would make sense here. Where do you guys see where the hand is? So you see where the door is? That's closed. Okay, doorway. And then next to it, right? And that's got like that darker, that's got a different color. Let's look at this. Yeah, different flooring there. That, I bet, that makes sense though, doesn't it? When we go back to oh, wait, hold on. Fuck it changed. I had the order memorized, and then apparently when I draw on it, it changes the order. There we go. All right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because that's that like nookie thing in there, right? Or am I wrong? I'm probably wrong. Okay. Without the door, right. That's what I'm thinking. So without the right closet, without a door, right. And what's interesting is like this part though, I mean, let me go back. I'm glad that I have it sharing the entire screen. So, given the angle of the picture, right? Hang on. All right. Given the angle of the picture, right? It's like desk is like, I can't draw, guys. This is just to orient for myself, especially because trying to picture the, this is the complete opposite angle, right? So here's like the desk, right? With the laundry bin and whatnot. Okay. So then if we go back to this one, right? We've got this redacted portion that's, if we're facing the desk, it's to the left. So back to this one. So the portion that's redacted, can y'all see my mouse? Is like over here. Okay, Heather sent me something in Discord. Hang on. I'm trying to figure out what, hold on. Yeah, I mean, I see that's the foot of the bed. So I think what Heather was getting at here, like, correct me if I'm wrong here, Heather, that the foot of the bed, right? Like the bed would be here, right? Like, oh my God, I can't draw. The bed would be like, right? Is this, am I getting the right idea here from what y'all are, right? This would be like the bed. And then the foot of the bed is butting up against this, correct? And then the bed is facing the window. That's what I'm getting from, let me read the chat, hold on. And it's a mirror in that picture. That's what I was thinking. So then there's a mirror here. There's a mirror here, right? Again, pardon the drawing, which, yeah, but it's just to get a lay of the land for those of us who are trying to figure it out. Gotcha. Right. So there's more than one. It's interesting. So yeah, that is true about the nightstands. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Can we figure out the placement here? Let's go back to this one, guys. The placement of that dresser with the candles. Where would I guess that would be, see, I guess the picture's chopped off where that would go, right? Because it's to the right of the bed, like under the word, hold on, let me pull this down, like under the word Idaho, if you were to imagine the picture kept going, right? Basically. Yeah, closet. Mm-hmm. Well, the door is, so this door here is to the hallway, right? Like that's the bedroom door. The closet has no door on it. That's the open doorway thing. So the thing is, though, that as far as the bed's concerned, that's what seems like it would make sense, right? But I know some of you guys were already saying that the bed is facing the window, right? And also Heather sent me a picture in Discord. Oh God, I could try to pull it up, but I feel like I'd have to open Discord on the computer. Where the foot of the bed, this back corner, is butting up adjacent to this corner here. So Heather, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that what Heather's saying at least is that basically, let me just add some pillows on here to make sure it's more clear. Chuck some pillows on. So pillows would be, just so we all know, it's like pillows would be like pillows would be like here, right? So foot of the bed. Does that make sense? It is weird. The layout of these are all, it's weird for all these. Yeah. Welcome on in, Cassidy. Right. You would not be able to see that corner, right, the image perspective from the living room. You mean the one that's in the picture? Like this? Or you're talking about the corner. Okay, never mind. I know what you're referencing. You're saying the corner, right? Yes, you wouldn't be able to see this corner from the living room. Correct. That makes sense. The photo is taken from the perspective of the second nightstand. Okay. So okay, so these pictures we had, this one I did not have last time actually. So I mean, annoying, right? How like they have this covered up, right? It's like, dude, this stupid banner at the bottom, it's like, really though? We're losing like such a huge portion of the picture. And it's like, what the fuck, right? So where it says real estate is the nightstand seen in the image taken from the living room. Right, that makes sense. The only thing though, right. So where the black sweater thingy is, right? Okay, so there's the foot of the bed and there's the wall that it's jutting up against, right? So again, orienting with the pillow. So we got the pillows. This nightstand in this picture is the only place it can be. The bed is up against the wall, right? So this nightstand is next to the bed, next to where the pillows go, because that's where your nightstand would go, right? Like, normal, right? So again, that like Heather was saying, that would put the nightstand basically under like where real estate is, right? So where's the other? You guys are saying there's another nightstand. So where's the other nightstand then? I guess it would have to be over near the mirror area, but that doesn't make any fucking sense though. Why would you put it anyways? Um oh, did they have that labeled, Heather? Did they label it living room? Or did I say living room? Let's see here. Right? I know. That wall is where the door handle would smack. Okay. Right. Welcome on in, Dory. Happy to see you. In front of cube shelves next to the mirror. Right. So it is next to the mirror. Okay. It's an odd place for another nightstand. I mean, I guess ideally you would put one on each side of the bed, but you couldn't do that in this situation. So the cube shelves then would be going back to the cube shelves or the dresser, aka, right? Okay, there's the door. The dresser is directly. Okay, okay, hold on. Right, so the dresser would be like basically, again, we run out of space because the picture needs to be taken from further out. So the mirror, I guess this wall is kind of bigger, right? And so then the mirror, because of we know the mirror and the desk are next to each other. I'm thinking then that dresser, right, with the candles on it, it would be like if you're facing the mirror, it'd be to the left of the mirror, right? Like again, we can't put it on here because we run out of room on the room. But it'd be to the left of the mirror, right? Because when we look at this picture, we can't see the dresser thing with the candles, right? So mirror, desk, right? There's nothing in between them that we can see furniture wise. Furniture wise, to be clear. So they would have to be, the dresser would have to be to the left of the mirror. Right. It is. I totally agree, right? It's hard to set things in that room. It's a weird shape. Definitely a weird shape. Um, right. That's right. You can't see it from the picture. They would be directly, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because from here, wait, where is it? Yeah, right. Like you can see. So here's the doorway, right? And we can see the dresser and then the other nightstand or whatever. So the dresser with the candles on it, right? So they're directly across from the doorway. So in this picture, we run out of the walls cut off, right? We can't see that. So um okay, so let's see here. So then we had what was the so this picture, again, annoying that this is cut off here. Um, again, there could be important things on the floor. Well, we can't see that. Then we have Dylan's room. So we talked about this last time too, right? Like we've got the potential Scream figurine here, the scrunchie. We went through this one in depth. This one we did not have last time. Again, sucks that so much of it is cut off. Um, we talked about these. We talked about all these. Yeah. So y'all let me know of these. So what pictures do you guys, if any, what if any pictures do y'all want to go back and take another look at? Or would you rather move on back to the uh, MPD reports? Let me know. I think that the chat's not loading at all. StreamYard, get it together. So I also had some other things too, Twiz bits, but we need to save that for when he comes on. So we'll have to save the Twiz bits. Right? Brought to you by Moscow, where pixels go to die. Yeah. And for anyone who missed it too, at the beginning of the live stream, we took a look at a good example of what, we usually can expect to see when you've got victims from being stabbed, and what, you can expect in terms of typically like the amount of redactions and stuff and how much you can learn from looking at it. So, yeah, so the eyebrows, right? So here's the thing about the eyebrows. I think that was very much okay. And actually, I had another picture that was a little bit less blurry. But basically, I think what they're referencing is these pictures right here on the wall. But it's not at all when this was described, what I imagined was like eyebrows, 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 like really prominent. That's not really what, I mean, we can't see very well, but it's faces. And some of them are people, or it's art. I mean, there's only a handful of faces, period, right? And I guess there's some eyebrows in there. But it's not like what I imagined from the description was like, oh, she's obsessed with eyebrows. She's like eyebrow after eyebrow, right? And but that's not what I mean. And I don't know what is redacted there. The other one that's interesting to me is the redaction in Kaylee's room. Where is it? Here. What do y'all think this is? This redaction here on the wall. Right here. Can y'all see it? It looks like some sort of hanging artwork. Like, is that a belt? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what is that? I have it. Hang on. I think you're talking about the original Twiz map, huh? Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, do I only have it with the overlays? I might only have it with the overlays. I got this one. I got this one. me see if this one you can kind of see up with the overlay. Some of you guys who weren't here for our coverage of this wouldn't know what you're looking at probably, because we did a bunch with overlaying these maps on top of each other. But I'll show it anyway, just in case. So this one, so here you can see the Twiz, right? But basically, I did a bunch with these overlays. There's a whole thing. So we started with like the basic, like the OG Twiz, right? And then I overlaid it with like Google Earth, and then I overlaid it with like Brett Payne's description from the PCA and whatnot. And there was a whole bunch of iterations where it was layer upon layer upon layer. But the best part is, the point being, you can still see Twiz's little handwriting with the crayons here, right? Yeah, so. It wasn't a map. It looked like a boob. I don't know if I have that one then, which is a shame. No, they've not showed. We've not seen a picture of the sheath yet. Nope, we sure have not. Sure have not. Welcome back on in, Young Black Economist. Yeah, I didn't see the yellow boob. I missed out on that one somehow, sadly. So, Kane, what are you reporting this from? Is this mainstream media or something? Okay. So now why don't we go back to where we left off here with the doc? So we were on supplement 64 with another meowery, and we're back with the Tinder. So we've been going in chronological order. Okay, so Tinder, and I'm remembering now, before all those pictures came out, we were talking about the Tinder, and we were joking about, you know, who all thought Twiz had used Tinder and whatnot, because it was a live stream when Twiz wasn't here, and trying to guess the Tinder situation. So completely the warrant. This one's basically very similar to the other ones. Okay, let's move right on. Number 65. All right, another meowery. So this is dated from 12/8. And so this is Maddie's Tinder. So on December 6th, I applied and was granted. Again, it bothers me every time he leaves out the word for. I applied for and was granted a warrant for the user subscriber information associated with Maddie. The warrant was served. Great. Received an email. Okay. The newest communication seems to have happened in 2021. All right, let's move on. Now we have Tyson Barrett from 12/12. All right, so Kaylee, so the Gonsalves' property release. So on 12/12 at about 8:30 hours, I met with the Gonsalves. Okay, so this is with Shannon Gray at the city shop. Did we read all of these already? Why do I feel like these are all familiar? Hold on. I'm wondering. Yeah, hold on. I think we did these. Let me just pull up the next one. Sorry. I had written down 64, and I think maybe we were on 74. Let me just see here. I mean, having said that, sometimes these are so redundant, it's hard to tell if they're just repeating themselves. So let's check this out and see here. Okay, this is where we were, because remember we had left off with the freaking hoodie guy and the freaking maintenance water quality shenanigans craziness. This is it. Okay, we're here. We're here. All right, we got it. We were lost, but now we're found, kind of. All right, so we got Brett Payne from 12/13. All right, on 11/15, okay, so it's written, first of all, almost a month later. I applied for and was granted a search warrant for, this would be 1012 Queen Road. Based off this information, Officer House, and I responded to 1112 Queen Road at approximately 1000 hours. We walked on the common walkway in front of the door to somebody's apartment, and observed the exterior of the door. Okay, right. So this would be hoodie guy. The area around the door had numerous spots of dried fluid. So, okay, so this is the same event, but before we saw this or read this described by a different officer, and so now we're getting this described by none other than Brett Payne. Okay, the dried fluid, okay, appeared to be rust drops. These drops were mainly on the wall next to the door frame, not on the frame itself. I observed what appeared to be a different fluid spot on the door approximately 8 inches up from the bottom of the door under the doorknob. I also noticed the deadbolt plating was clean, polished silver, and had no dirt on it. I walked away from the door in order to conduct an interview on a possible witness, Officer House, and several members of the ISP forensics unit. Okay. He met back up with Officer House and Detective Powell a short time later, and they told him they believed the spot of dried fluid on the door displayed similar, right? So this is actually very much what I recall from the other report about this. The spot also displayed a similar drop. This is really funny to me, though. By funny, I mean sad. Let me highlight it. The spot also displayed a similar drop pattern to the blood spots found on the banister wall and the wall on the stairwell of the ground floor. So, okay, you guys, you all see why this is ridiculous? Let me read it again. The spot also displayed a similar drop pattern to the blood spots found on the banister wall and the wall. Like, blood can only do so many things. Like, what? Blood spots? Like, the blood spots were similar to other blood spots on a completely different building? Like, this is insanity. Like, trying to connect that? That's insane. Officer House looked at several other doorknobs and deadbolt plates, and all of which had a fine layer of dust. Officer House also confirmed Showalter's door did not have the same layer of dust as it had been cleaned off. Okay. And then we get to the part where, okay. I returned to MPD and was notified by Detective Vargas, who was reviewing security camera footage provided by the owners of blank Lane, for possible footage of someone walking by the cameras at 3:50 hours. I watched the film with Detective Vargas. The cameras show the parking lot of London Lane, which is situated directly south of 1112 Queen. The frame captures a portion of the Queen Road parking lot in front of blank, but does not capture the apartments themselves. The area of 1112 Queen is also much darker than London Lane. The video is infrared and is thusly, look at him trying to pretend he's fancy. That's really fucking funny. Is thusly, like, you can't make up for all of your shortcomings with this in one word. Sorry. It's so out of place. Is thusly displayed in black and white. Wow. At approximately 3:50 hours per time stamp on the video, a figure clad in black clothing. Oh, that reminds me, I've got something to show you guys. Can be seen walking from the building which houses blank Queen Road. The figure walks to the west of the parking lot and leaves the frame of the video as the figure enters the sidewalk area between the two other apartment buildings. Terminus of the sidewalk is it terminus? Oh my god, it's funny. Of this sidewalk is immediately east of 1122 King Road. The figure is not captured by the cameras. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you guys. All right, check it out. So, all right. So some of you guys, if you're new, you may not know, I'm a paralegal in a law firm, right? And so anyways, whenever I talk about things that are interesting going on, I never give anything specific, obviously, about anything going on with anybody's names or fact, whatever, right? But some of you guys had heard me tell the story about how there was this discovery. It's like an attempted murder. And I was going through this discovery, and like for the exact moments where like we needed to have actual surveillance camera footage, which existed, I knew it existed. It's like there's like tons of cameras everywhere, and like all that is fine. We have all, but like there's like 3 specific moments where like it actually matters to prove the facts of the case. Like it's like literally the crucial 3 moments where you need the camera footage, and like 2 of them are missing, and then the one that is the most crucial is there, but it's like completely useless because it's all blurry and distorted. And anyway, I told the full story on a different live stream. But as I was doing more reading through the police report, I found this little snippet, which is really interesting, and it's a bonus because check it out. Bonus with Clad in black. The suspect, that's our client, was last wearing a black hoodie with black pants and shiny black shoes. Right? The irony. Speaking of people clad, because you know, if you're wearing all black, you obviously you have to be murdering, right? The suspect, again, our client, was last wearing a black hoodie with black pants and shiny black shoes. Anyway, but then here's the part about the camera, and now it's like, what the fuck, right? It should be noted that while watching surveillance footage, there were several skips in the video footage due to the type of cameras. Literally, we have footage from like thousands of cameras because it's a college campus. We have like, I mean, there's cameras everywhere, and all of them are like high def, functioning, working with the right timestamp, except for this one camera. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. None of them. Okay. There was also one camera that was blurry that was not able to catch the incident taking place. Literally, the incident in question. You know, it's just a little bit too convenient, isn't it, though? Like, oh my God, y'all. Anyways, so I remember that because of the Clad in black. So, okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Sounds like someone was trying to set the hoodie dude up early on. Possible. It's clearly genetics. I mean, right? Kane is making focaccia bread for everyone. That's nice of you. Thank you, Kane. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Terminus, right. So based off of the exterior, or oh my God, based off the information above, MPD and ISB officers served a search warrant on the exterior of the front door. Access to the residence per the search warrant was granted only if a presumptive positive test for blood was found. Nothing was found, right? So we know what happens after that. All right, onward. Number 75. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so now we have Detective Vargas. So this was on 12/14. Dated 12/14, but apparently events of 11/15. Okay. On November 15th, I had a phone message from the front desk to contact somebody as she may have information regarding Kaylee having a stalker. Okay. At approximately 11:15 hours, I called and spoke with so-and-so. I introduced myself and told her I was given her message to call about possible information regarding Kaylee having a stalker. She told me that she and some friends had lunch with Kaylee. Oh, did they have a whole delicious lunch? What do you think, Heather? Kaylee around September 11th, and she thought Kaylee said something about having a stalker. This person thought Kaylee mentioned receiving something in the mail, but some of the other friends at the lunch thought Kaylee mentioned getting a strange message through Facebook Messenger. Okay. This person told me that she'd been speaking with all of the friends who were at the lunch, and they were trying to remember what she said. Sounds like a mess. So-and-so provided me with the names of the other friends who were at lunch with Kaylee on or around September 11th. Okay, so then these people are redacted. So the friend or whatever provided me with the name JQ. JQ? I don't think I even know who JQ is yet. Is this a known person? JQ? Jesus, why does everyone's name start with J, though? What is going on? What is going on? Right? I know, right? The camera takes his lunch break right at you. Yeah, it's wild. Thank you, Twiz. Jack Quartzel. Is that really his name? Pretzel? Is it? I mean, is it supposed to be? I just want to think of Pretzel here. Hagemeyer. Right. So we don't know. Okay, fine. That's all right. All right. So JQ. All right. And told me that Jay and Kaylee were very close friends and had plans to live together in June. The friend said that Jay was not at the lunch, but she thought that Kaylee would have spoken with her the most. So it's a girl. Jane? Janice? What else? Julia? The friend said Kaylee spoke with the girl named Jay something, right? And somebody else the most. I asked the friend if she could think of anyone who Kaylee had any issues with, and she said no. The friend told me Kaylee's very kind-hearted to everyone. I asked the friend how the conversation came up regarding the stalker at the lunch with Kaylee. The friend said Kaylee would always talk about things in a lighthearted manner, and then she said one time she was speaking about childhood trauma in a joking manner, and they did not think much of it. The friend thought the stalker topic just got brought up at some point during the lunch conversation, but she could not remember how specifically. I thank the friend for, maybe if you were a better friend, listening better. I mean, just I'm kidding, but not kidding. I mean, someone's just talking about their childhood trauma, like maybe we should be paying attention. But anyhow, I thank the friend for the information, told her to contact us if she remembered anything else. Okay. And then, now we're going to speak with JQ. JQ told me she and Kaylee had plans to move in together. In June, she spoke with Kaylee often. I asked the friend about the topic of Kaylee saying she had a stalker. The friend told me she remembered Kaylee mentioning something about a stalker, but could not remember any of the details. The friend said she last saw Kaylee the weekend of October 3rd when she came for a visit to attend the U of I football game. So this is interesting. I'm going to highlight this, and here's why. Because we had talked about this previously in these docs, again, going in chronological order, that prior to this document, the only indication we'd had that Kaylee had moved out had come from her family. And given the statements made by all the other friends, and then also given her belongings in the room, right? It really didn't seem like she had moved out at all. And that's, we talked about this a few live streams ago. It was like, okay, where did that come from? And like, literally, it only had come from, like, I guess, her family, but nothing else indicated that that was the case in terms of like the court record or in the documents or what have you. So this would be the first time in going in chronological order that something indicates that maybe making a visit because you've moved out, right? So, but I mean, how the hell would you have all that stuff in the room still? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, that far away, like October 3rd. It's one thing if you're going to go move somewhere new and it's like, okay, it's like 1 or 2 nights and like you're going to like rough it on the floor until you can get your bed or whatnot. But like October 3rd, saw Kaylee the weekend of October 3rd when she came for a visit. Unless, hold on, unless it's the J friend that's doing the visiting. I wonder if that's what it is. The friend is the one that's doing the, you know, this could be more clear. Like, they could write this and make it more clear. Yep, that's what it is, because then it says she also visited Kaylee around the weekend. Okay, so never mind. I take it back. We still then don't have any evidence apart from what we just had heard from Kaylee's parents that she had moved out. In fact, this would be the opposite, right? It's the friend that's visiting Kaylee because Kaylee's still there, which is interesting. Like, that's why would the parents, anyways? Jesus. Are we just like, where's Fender? I don't know. I haven't seen, it's been a hot minute since I've seen Fender, but shout out to Fender, who's our squirrel friend in India. So, okay, so the friend's the one that's doing the visiting, which means, again, Kaylee's still there. Noteworthy. She visited Kaylee around the weekend of June 14th, and nothing Kaylee mentioned having a stalker. The friend thought the topic was brought up sometime during the previous school year in May. Okay, I asked friend Jay if Kaylee shared any information with her of having problems with anyone, and she said no. The friend told me she did not know of anyone who did not like Kaylee or would have it out for her. I asked the friend if Kaylee mentioned having any potential love interests or said she was seeing anybody. Wait, love interests, you say? Love interests?
I am not a hoe.
Where's
Ball.
Trooper Mechanic from Karen Reed retrial. Okay. So the friend told me that when she last, that says say Kaylee, you should say saw, on the weekend October 3rd, Kaylee said she was not seeing anyone or sleeping with anyone. I asked the friend if she knew about Jack D, Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. The friend told me that Kaylee and Jack both love each other, did not have any hard feelings against one another. The friend said that, again, it's J and J, right? The friend said that Jack and Kaylee started dating when they were younger, and Kaylee broke up with Jack so she could grow up a bit and experience other things. See other people is what that probably meant. The friend said at first the breakup was hard for Jack, but they remained friends. The friend said she did not know the other roommates that well who lived with Kaylee. The friend said when she visited during the weekend of October 3rd, there were a bunch of people staying at Kaylee's house, but no one who stood out. A bunch of people. Sorry, it doesn't say staying. It just says a bunch of people at Kaylee's house. The friend told me she was with OWCW and handed the phone to, I think that might be an O, so I could speak with her. Okay, now we go to that person. Okay, I told, again, is it a C? Is it an O? I think it's an O. I had spoken with, again, this is another friend, about the lunch they had with Kaylee and the topic of the stalker. This other friend said she and her friends have all discussed the stalker topic and could not remember exactly what was said. Wow, wow, wow. I asked the friend if there was anyone Kaylee spoke to about, and she said no. Friend told me she graduated from the university last year, was not in Moscow, and did not spend that much time with Kaylee. Friend said she did not know anyone who did not like Kaylee or had it out for her and did not know Kaylee's roommates. I think the friend was speaking with me. They gave the phone back to the first friend, Jay, who told me I should speak with Kaylee's friend, N. My God, so many friends and so few letters. Got some addresses. Okay, there we go. All right, number 76. Boop, boop. Making progress. We got another meowing. Kane's enjoying his focaccia. Love it. I don't know who that is. What, WSU mom? Is that what that says? I don't know who that is. Bang other dudes. Yeah, that's what I feel like whenever you hear that, like, I guess my experience would be like movies or TV shows, right? Like when people say that, it's like code for like I want to like see other people, right? That's funny. Yeah, so Fender is a squirrel friend. It's also obviously one of Doug's guitars being a Fender. All of my guitars are Alvarez, by the way. All right, so this Miari. So now we've got 12/15 and 12/15, okay, and December 3rd. So those dates are close together. That's good. All right, he was requested to complete a forensic extraction on an iPhone provided by JA. A signed a consent to search form for the device, and it was provided to me by ISP Detective Hugh Powell. This form has been uploaded to the case file. The phone was powered on, and I placed it into airplane mode to protect any potential evidence on the phone from being removed or remotely deleted. All right, I already have questions. The phone was powered on. Why are we not specifying? Does this mean the phone was powered on when you received it, or does this mean the phone was powered on? So remember with Mallory, he typically, like here, he actually is saying first person, but in a lot of these, if not, I mean, the vast majority of these reports, he speaks about things in like the third person, like where there's no specificity. Like this thing happened to this thing. It's like, are you there? Like, so anyway, reading this, this could be the phone was powered on, as in he powered it on, like it was powered on by me, right? The phone was powered on, and I placed it into airplane mode. Why the fuck are we? Because they're completely fucking different. Like this is one difference right off the top, right? Is that if a phone is off when you receive it and you power it on, you've now completely changed the entire situation of like getting into the phone if they didn't give you a passcode, because now you're in a situation where you're on the first unlock, and Apple gives you 3 chances, if I recall, 3 chances, versus if it's already powered on. And this does not, it says they signed a consent to search form, but it doesn't say this person turned over their passcode. Anyways, I could go on. I'm going to keep reading. Y'all, me and the phones, right? I know Twiz also with the phones. The phone was powered on, and I placed it into airplane mode to protect any potential evidence on the phone from being removed or remotely deleted. Well, I mean, I just feel like in this one sentence, he has, in fact, done the opposite and ruined things. I took photos of the device and attached them to the case file. The phone required a pass. There it is. Keep reading. The phone required a passcode. Okay, the person they provided a passcode. Okay. If the phone was off when he received it and he powered it on, he's basically already altered things by doing that. Anyways, in examining the iPhone, I first looked for identifiers, indicia of use, and ownership. The device was black in color with black colored case. The device was running iOS 15.1 and showed a model number, blah, blah, blah. The name of the phone was so-and-so's iPhone. Had a serial number. Great. In continuing the examination of the iPhone, I made the following changes to the phone's lock settings. Auto lock was turned off. These changes allow the phone and the forensic computer to communicate and share information properly. The phone was then connected to the forensic computers, running the following forensic software tools. And you'll notice too, there's just no talk of it being put in a Faraday bag or anything like that. I mean, why would we do anything like even remotely properly? Heather is letting everyone know, just for the record, that she's not a phone. Love it. The writing skills are very low. Yeah, refrain from banging your head on the wall while reading, for sure. I'm telling you the number of times, it's like, it's the struggle. There's a lot of struggle for me with these. There's just, the struggle is very much real. It's hard. That's what she said. See, I'm not even smiling or laughing when I say that. That's how hard it is to get through these, some of these anyways, majority of them. It's like some of them are hard because like they're written just so terribly. Others are hard. I mean, they're all hard in different ways, and none of them are good. Okay. So we just finished that one. All right. So now we got it, Chief Fry, or former Chief Fry. I think this is the first one in the series in terms of going in order. That is his report. All right. What have we got here? So he interviewed somebody. So they said they had information regarding the homicide. Okay. SP. I asked P if the information he would be sharing would be dealing with one person. P told me it would. I asked P if I could get the individual's name, missing an apostrophe there. P told me the person's name was G or G, later identified as GM. P told me he did not know the individual's last name, but believed he knew where he lived. P told me he lived in the blank apartments. P told me this apartment is just off of blank avenue, and then turn onto, I think we all know that's Linda Lane, and then right onto blank street, and the apartment is across from the da-da-da-da, and the person lives in the apartments. Okay. P began by explaining to me that he had done a lot of work for DK, who was the prior owner of da-da-da. P told me, oh, are we getting to the handyman? He's been a friend of the family for many years, has done handyman jobs in the past for DP. Or sorry, D, period. P told me in 2020 he drove blah, blah, his daughter, some she's redacted, and another person up to a place the family goes to have a vacation almost every year. The person told me after they got there, somebody who's one of the blank sisters, Jesus Christ, got into an altercation with a male who was camped near where they were. P, which is the person who's being interviewed, told me it was a heated argument, but everyone eventually went back to their campsites. P told me later in the evening he noticed R and L were walking past the male's campsite, so he went up on the hill where he could observe and make sure nothing was going to happen. This is weird. This is weird. P told me he had been up on the hillside for several minutes in the dark when all of a sudden G just appeared out of nowhere. Oh, man. Good. Very good. Wow. What a story. G Jack Morgan. I don't know if that's a typo or a joke, but either way, it's funny because, yeah, it's that's fucking funny. What, right? Yeah. Why does it matter? It's just so stupid. He appeared out of nowhere. It's like another ghost, or like, is this like a Lolliport style apparition? Right? P told me it startled him for a minute. Well, maybe he shouldn't be camping in the dark then. If he's like, is this really like a murder problem, or is this more like a Mr. P needs to make sure he stays at home with a nightlight on? Like, look, several minutes in the dark when all of a sudden this person just appeared out of nowhere. It startled him for a minute because he never heard or saw where the person came from. What the fuck? P told me that G pulled out a knife to show him. Interesting there. P told me this was hunting style knife. P told me he had spoken to, this is just very odd, G, who had showed a great interest in having a career in the military. I asked P if he could describe the knife to me. P told me typical 7-inch blade hunting/skinning knife. P told me he had heard that G grades in school had dropped and that L had been extremely verbally abusive to him. I asked how L and G would travel to Moscow from Boise. P told me he believed they would ride the bus when they traveled. P told me that when they stayed in Moscow at D's house, G and his sister would stay in the basement and L would sleep outside. Outside? Wait a second. Heather, hold on. Outside?
There's a house cat that's gone wild.
Outside? Anyways, sleep outside. I feel like the window of time for that in Idaho would be quite small, right? Like outside? Like, are we just sleeping in the grass? Is there like what type of outside? Like, what? I mean, this makes it seem like literally in the grass. Stay in the basement, and Elle would sleep outside or in one of the 2 sheds in the backyard. Either way, again, your window of time, I feel like, would be limited in terms of when that would be feasible. P told me the significance of this was that G would keep his knives in the basement of D's house, in the wood pile that was outside. In the wood pile? Can you imagine? Oh, let's go grab some wood for the pile. Okay, I'm gonna go grab some wood. And then your hands off, your arms off, Monty Python. I mean, in the wood, this is insane. I'm gonna have to start highlighting because like I don't what was I thinking? Like this needed to start. Hold on, we need to go back and highlight here. Right. Starting with the Afraid of the Dark business. You can't make this shit up. I mean, like, this is wild. It startled him for a minute. And then pulled out a knife. Here's my knife. Unbelievable. And then this person's just like sleeping outside or in one of the sheds. And then we have the keeping knives in the wood pile. I mean, is that like on purpose to see people like what the fuck? Like that seems like something you would do if you're like wanting people to accidentally hurt themselves. I don't know. In the wood pile. Help, people. Like, what the fuck is that? Just a flesh wound. Thank you, Mittens. Yeah, nobody needs to be correcting typos unless you're writing a police report, in which case it's rather important. Like, you see what I'm saying though? It's like really sadistic, right? It's like that thing of like, okay, like I'm gonna have all these knives and like hide the knives in the wood pile or somewhere where they're obscured, where someone's gonna be reaching for something innocuous and then end up like slicing their hand or their arm off. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Okay, this is what it says. Or in one of the 2 sheds. P told me around the end of May or sometime in the middle of June after COVID was letting up, he was at the Mad Greek having a late lunch or early dinner. Also it's worth noting that a lot of restaurants are closed at that time because it's that weird time where nobody goes to eat. Just saying. P told me this was on a Saturday or a Sunday. P told me he had ordered a glass of wine, which he is sure that Ethan brought him. So Ethan was waiting tables? Who is this? P told me he's not sure if Ethan worked at the Mad Greek or was just helping out. All right, people, you can't just, what? I'm wondering if this is some sort of fever dream that this dude had. I'll tell you what, though. Here's what didn't happen. If Ethan didn't work at the Mad Greek, which I've never heard that he did, ain't no way that happened. Because if it's like, it's one thing if like, you're at your table with your party, right? And somebody hands you a glass of wine, but that's not what this is saying. This is saying the dude ordered a glass of wine and then Ethan brought it to him as in like a waiter. There's no way. You have any idea the hell that would be brought against all kinds of things if that happened? Like the liability of the restaurant serving alcohol. Like, I can't even wrap my head around it. Having worked in restaurants a long time ago, I can't even wrap my head around the problems. This is crazy. Why not? Everyone else has a dream relating to this case. Great point, Heather. Just fill it in. It's your own adventure at this point, right? I really feel like this document, really, for real, Doug, it's just like, I feel like it literally feels to me almost like an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Did you guys ever watch that when you were kids? If you were kids when that show was on Nickelodeon? I used to love that show. I mean, I feel like we're completely beyond the case that we, now we're just like on a complete side quest of this dude's crazy ass. Yeah, right. Thank you, Kevin. You can't just help out and serve alcohol. I mean, no, you can't. I mean, for that type of thing, if anybody from like, you know, I don't know what it's called in Idaho, but it varies by the state, but the board that does all the alcohol shit, like jail, like, they take it so seriously, like in terms of whoever owns the restaurant, whoever was supervising the bar, whoever poured the wine, like all of the things, everybody would be like you're looking at jail time and huge fines. You're going to like never be allowed to have a liquor license or serve alcohol again. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. Absolutely insane. The penalties are insane to where they did that. It's on purpose to make sure that nobody ever just lets random people go and serve alcohol to random people, right? Like that's why. Like they make sure that no one would ever do that. So that's why this is just the craziest fucking thing. I mean, there's a lot of crazy things in this one particular report, but like I don't know. This might even win, honestly, in terms of just like the least possible of all of it. Sleeping outside, knives in the wood pile, crazy people springing up on you in the dark. All more plausible than Ethan serving wine when he didn't work there. Unbelievable. So this person told me a bit later he noticed that G had come into the restaurant with possibly D, who is G's cousin. Great. He then told me Xana and Madison had gone over to G's table and Ethan later joined them. So he's off work. Sorry, I'm saying that to be like he's off work, which he was never like, oh, he's supposed to be working, quote unquote. But now he's just joining them. How is this? Like how? Oh. It makes me wonder if whoever this person is who's being interviewed, if they've like never been to a restaurant, because this is so not. Is this a fever dream? Right? I know. I think this is a fever dream. I think this is a dream with a fever and possibly also on other substances in addition to fever and dreaming. And maybe also having a creative imagination and like add all the things in. All right. So P told me it appeared to be a heated conversation. Wait, what? Wait. Now it's another heated conversation? So, I mean, here we've been given this picture of the most casual possible and completely impossible, right? Most casual and impossible situation wherein Ethan is serving drinks up. He's supposed to be quote unquote working, though he's not working. And then now he's off work and he's joining them. And I'm picturing like this is so lackadaisical. It's just it's not feasible. But no, turntables, dun dun dun, plot twist. It's a heated conversation. What is going on? But he could not tell what it was about. Oh my God. Wait. He suspected it might have to do with the cancel culture. What is happening? If you guys could see my face. I literally was not expecting cancel culture. I can't even highlight. I'm too flabbergasted by this. I was already thrown off by the heated conversation and then it kept going. Suspected, not even overheard, suspected. It may have had to do with the cancel culture. I can't. I'm dead. Y'all, goading. I need some sound effects. I don't even know. I need some sound effects.
There's a chicken.
You tell me, playa. Please.
I have that skirt.
It helped a little bit. I don't even know. Right? Yes, it's a dream sequence like Finnegan's Wake. That's exactly right. That's exactly what we have here. It's a dream sequence. Yes. Dream sequence, I think also involving a fever and potentially some sort of substances. All right, cancel culture. And that G was stirring them up with conservative comments. Okay, I just got to keep highlighting because what else can we do with this? Why can we not highlight better? Oh, I know, because my brain is like, what's happening? Let's just try again. Oh my God. Oh my God. Adobe. Okay. Adobe's fed up as well with it. P told me G left without eating anything. Well, shame that we never got to learn if Ethan served him lunch or if Ethan was too busy arguing about cancel culture. Okay, keeps going. Later that night, around 9 or 10 p.m., P was at D's house in his backyard. Oh, of course, right, because he lives in the backyard or whatever. P said that L was extremely drunk and she was yelling at G. P said she stated, quote, "You are just a loser," spelled wrong. It's spelled like looser. So let's say this correctly the way it's spelled. Quote, "You are just a loser and you're going to spend your life in jail. You're ruining your life." End quote. P was not sure what L was referencing when she said this. P told me G left right after this altercation and he did not see him again. P told me G goes on long walks and does not return until the early morning hours. It sounds to me like whoever this person is being interviewed, who's also has all kinds of fever dreams, really, really, really wants to portray his friend, G, whatever it is, as like a potential serial killer. That's what this looks like to me. What do y'all think? I mean, it's like not even mincing words. Like with all, even down to the stereotypes, right? Like check it out, right? Like even down to the stereotypes, like this business with the long walks and does not return until the early morning hours. I mean, really, come on now. Fucking hell. P told me he was over at D's the next morning picking up some tarps. Really? Tarps, you don't say. From a job he'd been doing, and G showed up. P told me he asked G what he does after he leaves when his mom was yelling at him. Now he's being yelled at by his mom, too? G told him he goes over to the college. P told me G believes the college is to blame for how his mom is. What is happening? P explains that L went to parties at the college and began drinking. P told me he does not know for sure, but believes that L may have been raped at one of the college parties. Okay. P told me he asked G about the conversation that took place at the Mad Greek restaurant. Yeah, I want to know more about this situation. P said that G told him that he had followed the girls to the Mad Greek from college. G told P that the two girls were lesbians. G told P that he had went back to the girls' house, and when they came home, he was inside the house and made the statement, "They had no idea that I was there. I could have killed them all if I wanted to." Really? Really? Y'all. Really? You just, I don't, like, sad like that. I mean, this person who's being interviewed seems to think that, like, it's just, like I said, it's too on the nose, right? P told me G then went and got a larger knife from out back and showed him. Really? Like, if nothing else, this one report sounds like whoever's being interviewed really wants to make it seem like this dude, the friend, G, it's like, what else do you need me to tell you? In terms of, like, that's him being like, yeah, he's a killer, obviously, because look at all this stuff. Like, it's just wild. This is the guy, right? Well, I mean, so far, the only time I've heard anything about this is according to this dude who's being interviewed, who literally is, I mean, I don't know, take your pick. Who's less reliable between, like, Dylan and this dude? I mean, this is insane. We're still on the same dude with, like, the camping, and he got scared in the dark and then said that somebody pulled out a knife, and then the cancel culture, and Ethan with the wine, and all these, I mean, so many things, right? Same dude. He's stepping up, he's kicking it up a notch here with this one, that this person told him they had no idea I was there. I could have killed them all if I had wanted to. P told me G then went and got a larger knife from out back and showed him. I mean, then that's really the icing on the cake right here, right? It's like, how do we finish this off? Right here. One sentence. Look at it. It's a paragraph all by itself. It's a one sentence paragraph, which also is not correct. Yeah. Grammar. It's a one sentence all by itself here to close it out. P told me every time he was around G and G's mom would explode on him, he always stayed very calm and would not react to her. Well, all right. That's that. P is maybe Pete. Pete. So whoever P is the person who's responsible for this crazy fever dream story, right? G would be whoever P is throwing over the bus. I'm going to write it down on my notepad here. P equals, we'll call him fever dream. What's the word we call him? P equals fever dream. And then we're going to say G, in terms of G in relation to P, equals, we're going to say thrown under the bus. At least for me in my mind, that's how I'll very easily be able to remember which one's which. Wow. All right, now we have number 78. This is Danny Vargas. Okay. Packing up personal items. All right, let's see. At 1122 King. All right, on December 7th, 2022, I assisted with packing up and moving personal belongings from 1122 King. Oh my God, it says Kind Road or Kind Road. I should say King always. It's sad. To the MPD secured storage garage. All right, KP, Captain Lanier, and I packed up the items in Bethany's room and Dylan's room. All right. On December 8th, I spoke with RM, who is in blank for blank. M initially wanted to retrieve some items for M, but then stated M would come and retrieve all of her items sometime after the holidays. On December 15th, I spoke with TV, who is in blank. I wonder if these are attorneys for the different people. V asked if we could send F her reading glasses, passport, and iPad to blank with the investigator who would be coming to interview her. So this would be referencing Bethany. So this is Bethany. So Bethany is asking for her reading glasses, passport, and iPad when she's about to be interviewed. iPad? Come on. Who the hell thinks that they are about to be interviewed and they're going to be allowed to have, like, what? What universe do you live in? Glasses, fine. Passport, I mean, you need ID, but then iPad? Oh my God. Captain Lanier and I retrieved the reading glasses and passport. Yeah, sure enough. Reading glasses and passport from Funk's personal items at the MPD secured storage. I sent an email to Vargas stating we would be sending glasses and passport, but could not release the iPad yet as it was one of the items seized. Yeah, during the search warrant. Yeah. V asked when Funk could get the rest of her personal belongings, and I told him she could contact me and we would make arrangements to return all of her items to her secured storage. I gave Funk's glasses and passport to ISP Mike Mooney, who would be giving the items to the appropriate ISP investigator who would be traveling to blank to speak with Funk, Bethany. So no such luck on the iPad. I'm not surprised. Guess the name of Thompson's band. Is that it? Wow. I would never have guessed that. Is that really the name? Oh my God, it's klezmer? Oh, are we back on the breakfast pizza? Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, we need to close the loop. We talked about breakfast pizza a couple streams ago. So you're having breakfast pizza and it's bacon and cheese. Interesting. We had a whole Doug, were you there for that conversation? I think maybe you were. You actually were part of the reason it came up. Anyways, breakfast pizza. A lot of people did not like that I had mentioned something about putting syrup on it, like a drizzle. I'm like, there's different styles of breakfast food, you know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, I mean, is he Jewish? Santa? Wait, hold on. That doesn't make any sense. How is that possible? Shelves don't do it. Oh, the breakfast pizza. Guys, my voice is pretty shot here. I actually have been I pushed it further than I thought I could with my voice. Seeing as how I didn't have any assistants here. Cough, cough, Twiz, cough, cough. So I think I'm gonna have to call it on this particular stream. But I think, Kane, are you gonna go live on Not Kane? And also, I will be going live again tomorrow, and I'll be able to start earlier, and we will pick up where we left off. And let me write it down and make sure I can read my stupid handwriting. So we're going to be on 79. All right, let's get our numbers correctly here this time. 79. 79 is where we are leaving or picking up with tomorrow. Now, having said that, if there's like some new pictures or if there's something else that comes out, then, we may do that instead. Also, I've got an ongoing list of things that we were going to talk about or circle back on that might even, again, I'll have to just check and see. I can plan for those too. I'm just looking. Okay, yeah. So, let's see. Kane, he's being silly. Kane, go live. Yeah, I agree. Kane, go live. Kane, go live. Yeah, that's a good point. The student ID. Yeah, I don't know. That is a good question. Now, if she didn't have a license, like if she'd gotten, I don't know if this, if they take away your license or whatever, because you get like a DUI or something, right? Then your government issued ID would be your passport because your student ID would not count as a government issued ID. That's one thought. Unless she was like planning on leaving the country or afraid that somebody was going to take it. So I don't know. I think the most likely situation would be like, well, you need government issued ID and student ID doesn't count, but like, seems like there would be a license missing if you're asking for the passport. Unless you're like really worried about someone stealing your identity. I don't know why you would be worried about that if you're in that position though. Oh, interesting, Mittens, saying that some people went to Mexico pretty soon after this happened. Interesting. Well, thank you, Doug. He says they do actually put a little drizzle of, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that, something. It's just like syrup. It's like syrup. Thank you. See? Wonderful. Twiz says he's naked and sweating. This is BS. Right, Heather? I'm literally face palming. Can you guys hear that sound? That's me face palming. This is life with Twiz. Like I said in King's chat earlier, this is life with Twiz. Having said that, it's better than life with these documents, which is banging your head against the wall. Like head against my palm. Okay, that's one thing. Head against wall, definitely worse. Is that a compliment to Twiz? I don't know. You tell me, guys. What do you think? It's a low bar, though, if you compare it. I'm just kidding. How is that TMI? This could be a really good foundation for our next Twizbits episode as well, by the way. What does the sound like? Can you guys not hear it? I guess it's because StreamYard is like, that sound is not supposed to be here. So like, it's like black, like, whatever, deleting it. I'm like, I think it's pretty loud. Anyways, I'm not going to keep hitting myself in the head louder or harder so that anyways, it sounds like, slapping oneself, with their hand on their head. Anyways. Okay. Right. How is that TMI? You can't see anything. I think TMI implies a knowledge, like too much information, like too much. I don't even know how to, I can't even figure out how to finish answering that question. It was, what is happening? I don't know. How is that TMI? You can't see anything. So special. Oh my God. Yeah, ID's usefulness depends on purpose. True. Right. I mean, and the reports, they should. Now, what's normal though, it is normal for something to be like, they have to get it approved by the supervisor. It is normal for that to be like the next day or whatever. But like what's not normal is like there's been plenty of these documents where like the date of the events is after the date that it says it was written. I've pointed that out a couple different times. I don't even know what to say about that. Like, how have you written it before the events that you're writing about? Unless you have some sort of like squirrely crystal ball. There's that. Then there's also some of these so far, it's like, a month difference, right? Like it's submitted a month after. And from my understanding is sometimes that will get even worse as we go along. So, but again, it's par for the course, right? Because like what is done as, what is normal as far as the protocol here, if there's any protocol, what if any protocol? Yeah, Twiz has held up his when he said he doesn't go on people's shows. I mean, he hasn't been on my show the past 2 live streams, so he's kind of, I don't know if he's just being stubborn to prove a point. Right. Yeah. You see, but don't know. Cassie says it's about the picture we draw on our heads, and now it's worse. For anyone who wasn't already doing it. Oh God. Oh my God. All right. Let's give ourselves a different image before we head out. Let's do, since I just mentioned the squirrely crystal ball, it's cute, it's magical, and it's not nearly as TMI as other things. So let's all just enjoy here the squirrely crystal ball. So magical and so G-rated, even though none of these live streams are, but that is very, very kid-friendly or whatever, G-rated, I guess. It's magical. It is, right? Shall we watch it again? I love it so much. It's one of my favorite ones. The castle in the back. The Old English font. Twiz has parka on. I thought you were naked. Oh, for fuck's sake. Special. It's special. He's special.
It's very big.
Anyways, so guys, I think that'll do it. Like I said, my voice is shot. If King goes live, I'll definitely pop into the chat though. And we don't know. It's not been confirmed yet, although not that we really want it to be confirmed. Is Twiz wearing parka? Is Twiz not wearing parka? No, right. I don't even want to ask the questions. Heather. So y'all, love you guys. Thanks for being here and being awesome. Hopefully we will have Twiz and or Kane join us next time, especially because we are overdue for our next installment of Twizbits, #Twizbits. And we always also love when we have the opportunity for reading Canebo. Love it as well. So yeah, so there you go. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow with more. And until then, though, dress appropriately for the weather. Stay away from people who hide knives in their wood piles. Don't serve alcohol if you don't work at the restaurant. Always wear shoes in the house. Safety first. It's a quote from Pineapple Express. And never try to cut chicken for a sandwich using a pocket knife. Words of wisdom. But until next time, guys, squirrel.